Okay, welcome back. We have Natalie in the house in real life. So good. Okay, so those of you who don't know Natalie, she is obviously a rock star.
Thanks. I'm not really a very good musician at all, though.
I love it. So we're going to learn about how she's taken her business up like 18,000 notches, basically, from like normal rock star to super rock star. And we're going to hear about how she did that. So I'm very excited to hear actually what you're going to say.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So I should have mentioned this a lot earlier, actually. This was actually supposed to be Steve's CIR Live, and he is currently driving to Kelowna, so I got slotted in. So these questions have all come from Steve.
Right. So if they suck, we'll blame Steve.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Question number 1. Give us the lay of the land over the past 5 years, starting with your maternity leave years. And I'm not sure why, but tell me why Steve wanted to ask you that.
I think Steve was asking because he said in 5 years, my business has jumped 450 some odd %. So he was really curious about how that came about.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I guess, 5.5 years ago, I had my daughter. So as a realtor who thrives on having their own business and hadn't really made any plans to kind of pass it off, it's really nerve-wracking to think about how you're going to do it. I mean, you know, too.
Yeah.
You were there.
Oh, yeah.
How am I going to, have a baby and still manage to have a business and make money and keep it going and not lose clients? So, when I had my daughter, Grayson, I had Kelsey Jones, who's amazing, help me through that. So she's a huge asset, so I think finding help and having somebody to assist you, that really helped me, and I was pretty much back to work when my daughter was about 3 months old.
Wow.
And she would just come along, and I was kind of picking and choosing my clients a little more. And then, when my daughter was 9 months old, I discovered I was pregnant again. And we were going to have lots more fun. I actually don't remember the year that he was born, like 2017. July 2017 to July 2018 is just kind of a blur.
Oh my goodness.
Because, I had 2 little ones at home and trying to run a business and trying to be sane and, remember to shower and do like day-to-day things. So again, having help with the business was important. But, I guess being able to shift like that, I think was helpful in really having to take the time to think about what I wanted my business to look like too. Mm-hmm. So being forced out of the business takes you out of being in the business and makes you think about, working on the business, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So that was it got the creative juices going a little bit more.
So do you think that when you had your kids, you were kind of forced into a position to like almost just take a step back but forward at the same time because you had to put the systems in place to make it work? Yeah, for you in a new lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because before it was just, you want me, I'm there. I'll go and do whatever it takes. And then, this wasn't going to happen for me anymore. I had 2 little ones to look after. So it did force me to delegate a lot more. Sometimes it was delegating work stuff and other times it was, delegating childcare or figuring that out. Yeah. And I find that has been a work in progress that's gotten better over time. Yeah. But that was I think where it started. That was the shift where I started to have to think like a business owner and not just, someone chasing the business.
I feel like that's a really important point because it's almost like you gotten yourself to a certain threshold in your business. And when you stepped back and put the systems in place, it actually allowed your business to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how, deep you want me to go into this, but I guess probably once my son Elliot was a year, then I was able to put the kids in childcare and focus a little more on the business. And because I wasn't slammed, I had time to think about how I wanted it to come together. So that was, investing a bit into the business when I think a lot of people, when they're quiet and they're not super busy, they kind of pull back the reins on their spending. And I think if you're smart, you can put your money in places that are going to give you a much bigger return.
Right.
So I hired a business coach at that point, and
okay. Cool.
that was a huge step, because I started then looking at my company as a business and how to make it profitable and how to increase that profit. And I really started looking at my costs to do business. And I also looked at, where I could make changes. And then, and then the next year, I was so busy I couldn't handle anymore. And then the next year I hired an assistant.
Right.
And I think that I'm going to be working on some material for that course, the assistant course, on Friday when I'm covering for you.
Oh, nice.
So
good.
So that was really helpful to work out, not just getting an assistant, but how to train an assistant and how to have that really help me.
Right.
And then, I hired her, and then I hit the point where, my business was too much for the two of us. So then at that point, we brought on Lindsay Bosma last September, and now we're again looking at that point.
It's so easy to get caught in that whirlwind of just like doing deals and clients, and you stop looking at your business as a business because you're so into doing the work that you're not taking a step back to be like, okay, how can I take this to the next level? Because you're so in the midst of the chaos and I feel like there's probably a lot of agents out there right now, because of the market the way that it is, that is exactly in that situation where they're just they're just stuck in the day to day, and they haven't taken a step back to
and sometimes like there was a period of time where I was up at 5 a.m. every morning, like just to have that quiet time before the kids woke up, when the phone wasn't ringing, when the emails weren't coming in, when I actually was able to have that quiet time to think about what I wanted to do. It's a habit. Like we know, I know, you can develop good habits just as easily as you can develop bad habits, and they're equal. Yeah. So I think the getting up early, I used to scoff when Lindsay Smith would tell me, because I'm like, you're crazy. Who gets up that early on purpose? And he was always so perky about it too. Well, I get up in the morning and I just get everything done, and you're perfect, Mr. Lindsay Smith. But then I started doing it, and I was like, oh, he might have sense here.
Makes sense.
Yeah, this is helping. So I think just taking a little bit of time out of your day to carve out for working on the business, and then thinking about. And Lindsay also said this, so I guess he has some decent points.
Maybe he's smart.
I don't know. I'm not gonna go that far yet.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, but I would say he also said, like, delegate anything you can. Yeah. So in life, even, we have childcare now that's handled, and now I have a company that brings in like 3 cooked meals every Monday for the family. So now dinner is cooked 3 days out of the week, so that I can actually, work up until the day is over by 5, and then have a good meal that's home cooked and still nutritious. And I don't have to, I used to try to end my day at 3:30 so I could prep and cook a nice meal. Right. And then dinner was crazy because the phone was still going off. So this has bought us some time. So,
and probably some sanity.
Yeah, I can't say I'm sane yet.
Fair enough.
But getting there.
Okay, question 2.
Oh gosh. We covered a lot in that first one.
We did cover a lot. We might, I don't know, we'll see.
We can,
Okay, tell us about some of the challenges you've had getting organized.
Well, I think the problem is that a lot of times when you're running a business and you're run, everything's in your head. So that's going to keep you up at night. That's going to stress you out. That's where you make mistakes. So the biggest shift in my business 100% was taking everything in my head and making as many processes as I could. So literally, that's kind of the systemizing question, but it's having a playbook, and having an assistant was helpful for that. So we literally took every single task in real estate that I ever do, and we wrote it down and made it a system. Like that's all it is just taking it from your head and putting it somewhere. And, we put it into an app. So now every single process of the listing, every single process of, our buyer clients, every single lead has a process. And now now it's easy because you can fine tune it. You can say, okay, on this listing process, now we need to put it into the coming soon, in the virtual office.
Right.
So I literally add a task there, and into this app, it's Asana. You can use any kind of task app, I think, and then I assign it to my assistant. So now for every single listing we have, that's part of the process. So it's out of my head now. I know it's assigned to her, and then I don't have to run around thinking about what I need to do next. So I would say for anybody that's a little bit overwhelmed by the idea of systems, instead of worrying about, putting it into the app and having it perfect and getting to this point, start by just literally writing it all down. And then once it's written down, figure out how to transfer it into something.
Start with checklists even, or like manual.
Checklists. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Exactly.
Did you say Asana is the one you use? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's the best. It's just the one that
whatever works for you is the best one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's the best or not. It just has to work the best for you.
Yeah. And it's great because you can tweak it, and you're always fine tuning it to make it better.
Right.
Like constantly.
I think I read somewhere that when you're juggling too many things in your head, it's literally like you're trying to juggle too many balls and things just start getting dropped. Like literally, like trying to juggle too many things. It's like the same thing as in your brain. So if you can put those balls down, just pass them off.
Yeah, like as realtors, you guys are probably seeing it out there. Like how many trades are you waiting on right now? Like how many different businesses have to drop the ball on you? And it's because their processes aren't, super tight. And then you're going to find you're going to work with some other companies that doesn't matter how busy they are, you're still going to feel like, that valued client, and nothing's going to get missed.
Everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Once the systems are in place, where does the insatiable drive come from?
Steve. No, not Steve. Probably like I'm competitive. So I've always been competitive, and I probably, because I love what I do too, I think, if you can take your personal values and put it into a business, there's no weird, like it just is smooth. It's just me from one, day to the next. So I think it's personal too, to see, what can I do and how much better can I get? And it's a challenge for myself, and I enjoy that. I thrive on it. And, I'm the same with kind of just about anything. Like I like improving, and I enjoy learning. So I think that it's just, I found my niche in real estate. I love it.
Yeah.
So the drive comes from enjoying something that you're doing, and then actually being able to like watch it grow. It's like your baby. You get to reap the benefits of it, and it's that lifestyle too.
Yeah.
And I want to be number one. So
well, there you go.
So that's
it's just like an internal burning fire that you have. Hey, it's just like burning in you. Yeah. I love it. I love seeing that. Okay. What was the most instrumental thing you have done in elevating your business to this level?
Yeah, 100% systemizing.
Okay.
So hiring my assistant, like, and just, you can have a process, but you also have to commit to following it. So I would say, doing that system. I mean, my days now, like I just have to pull up the app and see what my tasks are, and it's taken care of. Like I don't have to think of anything anymore.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because there's probably going to be a lot of agents out there that are nervous about taking that step.
Yes.
Because it's scary. Like I remember that step, and it was terrifying because you now have this whole other human being and their family and their well-being to look after. Mm-hmm. And some people thrive on that. They just they need that push to get them to the next level, which is great. But not everyone's like that, but it's so scary because, and I've seen it, I saw it in my career, I've seen it in lots of my agents' careers, at the company stuff too, that you get to a certain level and you just can't do any more by yourself.
You can't.
But you're you almost bottleneck yourself. And for you, it sounds like having your kids, and it was the same thing for me, but you don't have to have kids to get to this point.
You definitely don't.
You just you bottleneck yourself, and you have to make a change. Yeah. So that you can grow,
and stay
just
married.
And stay married. Worked out better for you than me. Anyways, so like, you have to just take that leap of faith sometimes. And like, there are systems that we can put in place at CIR too that help you slowly transition and start that, like the admin stuff, the concierge and whatnot. But it sounds like just taking that leap and just going for it.
Yeah, no, like, yes, like, yeah, like I was terrified too, because it is so scary. Big step and you worry. And I would be responsible. Like I would pay this person before, I'd pay myself. I would starve. Like I would get a second job to make sure she stays employed. Right. So that was very like, that's a responsibility that weighs heavily. So I feel like I liken it to dating. Like if you really want to get, that best person, you got to work on yourself first and make sure you're worthy.
I love it.
And it was like that for kind of getting an assistant was like, I had to do the legwork and put the work in first to know exactly how the structure was going to be, what her responsibilities were going to be, what I needed from her and how I was going to train her. So that's something like I'm happy to, have conversations about with people. But I think that, you are taking a leap of faith, but you also have to be ready so that you know exactly what you're going to have them do and how you're going to structure it.
Yeah. Take it seriously.
Yeah. Take it seriously and do the work. Yeah. Because you do have to do the work for them to eventually do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next question is an interesting one. So talk about balance and what does that even mean and how do you achieve it? And Steve wrote this question.
Yeah, of course he did. Typical. Maybe it's not typical guy. Women ask it too.
Yeah. So it's funny because the balance question, and for those of you listening, we talked about this before we sat down in this moment. But the balance question is interesting because it often gets asked of women that are also in mom roles. Yeah. And so there's that. But I also feel like there's like a whole movement towards finding balance in life.
Yeah, there is.
And it's like, in real estate, we have such a grind culture, which is interesting because we all are so competitive and we want to keep progressing, which is amazing. But mental health is obviously really prominent in the conversations these days. And I think it's a really important question to ask. So tell us about how you maintain balance.
Yeah. Well, I think when the kids were really young, I just did a terrible job of it. And like I joked, I was like, I was either a shit mother or a shit realtor or just kind of average at both.
Yeah.
But, eventually you find your groove. And I think time blocking is really important. So blocking out times that are, for your family, and you have to treat it the same as you would a listing appointment that you're going to go to, and you're going to keep your phone off, and you're going to give them your full attention. Yeah. And, it's so easy to take your family for granted and just kind of be like, I got this work to do. So, and same with your health, it's so easy to put that on the back burner too. So, when I hired my assistant, I also, joined a gym and decided like every morning, except for today at 9 a.m., I go to the gym. So like from 9 to 10, you're not going to get me. Like I have my notifications off. I don't want to be bothered. I'm just going to sweat and I'm going to do a good workout. And because it's the same every day, it's consistent and I don't miss it. Right. And it's the same. I have appointment slots in the evenings, certain evenings, and other ones are booked for family, and same with weekends. And I think that you just have to commit to that and time block. And then at least, when you are in that time, your attention is focused directly on that and nothing else. If you can do it, theoretically. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Or at least I'm not perfect at it. And, it's still a work in progress, but the goal is to keep getting better at it. Yeah. Yeah. You have to like commit to turning off the notifications, shutting off your phone or turning it over, or doing whatever you need to do. I personally have to leave cell reception. So there's that. Which is nice. And you also and I'm also one of those people that doesn't like to say no to anything. Every opportunity, like if it's an opportunity to learn or grow or whatever, you want to take it. So now I'm starting to realize I have to be a little choosier too with my time, and I have to be better at saying no to things and not taking on things. That's a good skill. And then understanding, what's that? It's a good skill. It is. Yeah. Saying no is, it's I've gotten a lot better at it. Yeah. But that, and then also the delegating, having the meals come, that helps me. Yeah. To be more present. So you have to say no to some things like cooking dinner. or whatever to get there.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Biggest mistakes to avoid?
I still do it. And, and I hate myself for doing it, but I'm always, the friends whose listings I take on are always the ones that don't sell, because I always let them control the process. Like, I know your price is too high, but we'll try it, or we'll do this. And I have to get better at, being consistent with my listing process, no matter how much I like you, because the people that I don't like and the strangers are the ones that somehow trust me more and don't try to push me, and that I'm more firm with. And that's where I see the sales happen. So I guess it's not the biggest mistake, but it's the one I'm most annoyed with right now with myself.
Yeah.
So it stands out.
My very first week in the business, I had an agent tell me that friends and family will always be the hardest deals you'll ever do. And literally that has rung true for most people.
Yeah, because you're not the same.
You don't operate in the same capacity or in the same way that you do with your normal clients. So that's an interesting one. That was not what I was expecting. I like it. Okay, last question. Best advice you can give in 30 seconds or less.
I think I've already given it.
Yeah.
Just, if you don't know how to get organized, start asking for help to get there, and start working on it, and start looking at your career as a business that is profitable, and make sure that you're paying yourself a salary, and make sure you're paying yourself enough to make it worthwhile to do this job. And also make sure that you're making time to have a life and have a vacation and do the things that make it all worthwhile.
Right.
I would say. And systemize so that you can actually leave and it's not up here.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Natalie. And hope you guys got a lot of value out of that.